I need to tell you something I never told anyone. Not because I was ashamed, but because for a long time, I didn't understand what was happening to me. And without understanding it, how could I even begin to explain it? Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to confess today might be exactly what you're living right now. And if it is, you're going to leave this video different from how you came in. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell right now. Every week, there's a new confession here, made for this hour, made for whoever is awake when the rest of the world is asleep. It was a night like any other. No bad news had come. Nobody had died. No fight had happened. No concrete reason existed. But the tears came anyway. I was lying in bed. The ceiling was dark. The house was completely silent. And then, out of nowhere, without warning, without explanation, my face was wet. I wiped them away. They came back, wiped again, came back again. And then came the thought that disturbed me more than the crying itself. Why am I crying? I searched my mind for a reason. I went through everything that could possibly be wrong. Work, relationships, money, the future. I went drawer by drawer inside my own head, looking for the file that had caused this. I found nothing. And you know what's more terrifying than crying without a reason? Not finding the reason. Because then a voice starts whispering something horrible. It says, maybe you are falling apart on the inside, and you didn't even notice. I was scared of myself that night. I lay still in the darkness, waiting for it to pass, praying for the sun to rise, for the day to start, so I could pretend again that I was okay. And that's exactly what I did. The next morning, I woke up, took a shower, put the armor back on, smiled for whoever needed to see my smile, did everything expected of someone who has it together, and that night got locked away, buried, like it never happened. But it happened again, a week later. Same hour, same darkness, same silence, same nameless tears, and then again, and again, and again, until I stopped being scared of it, which is the saddest part, because when you stop being scared of your own pain, it means you got used to carrying it. And carrying pain like it's normal is the beginning of a very deep hole. I needed to understand what was happening to me, so I started paying attention, not to the nights I was crying, but to the days that came before them. And that's when I started seeing the pattern. The heaviest days always came before the hardest nights. But during the day, I never let the pain land. I was too busy, too many things to do, too many roles to play, too many expectations to meet. The pain would knock on the door, and I would say, not now. I can't right now. Come back later. And it came back, at night, with interest, because postponed pain doesn't disappear. It accumulates, silently, in the corners you don't look at, in the places you pretend don't exist, until one night, everything you swept under the rug comes flooding back at once, and there you are. At 3 a.m, no apparent reason, face wet, with a pain that has no address, but it has an address. You just never stopped long enough to find it. Let me tell you what I discovered. Crying at night without a reason is almost never without a reason. It is the result of everything you felt and never processed. Everything that hurt you and you chose to ignore because you didn't have time. Everything that weighed on you and you carried anyway because someone needed you to be strong. Everything you lost, not necessarily people, but versions of yourself. Dreams that slowly died, expectations that quietly dissolved. The life you imagined and the life you are actually living, when those two don't match, that gap hurts. And during the day, you don't look at it. At night, you have no choice. There's something else I discovered. The body keeps everything, every emotion you suppressed. Every time you said I'm fine when you weren't. Every time you held back the tears because it wasn't the right moment. Every time you were strong because there was no other option. The body recorded it, stored it, kept it carefully, and at night, when the defenses come down, when the control finally relaxes, when you stop holding yourself together, the body releases. That crying without a reason is your body doing exactly what it needs to do. It is processing, it is releasing, it is trying to heal what you spent all day trying to hide. It is not weakness. It is the most honest mechanism you have. When I understood that, something shifted inside me. I stopped being afraid of the nighttime crying. I stopped fighting it. Stopped wiping the tears with anger. Stopped begging for the sun to rise just so I could run from myself again. I started letting it happen. I would lie down. The wave would come. And instead of resisting, I would breathe and let it move through me. And you know what happened? The night started getting lighter. Not overnight. Not magically. But slowly. Like each time I let that emotion out, I became a little less full of unspoken things. A little less heavy. A little more whole. Because that's what crying does when you stop fighting it. It doesn't break you. It cleans you. But I had to go beyond the crying, because understanding that I was releasing emotion was one thing. Understanding where it was coming from was another. So I did something I had never done before. I got truly quiet. Not the quiet of someone waiting for sleep. The quiet of someone willing to listen. And I started asking myself honestly, what am I actually feeling? Not what I thought I should feel. Not what would be easier to admit. What I was really, deeply carrying. The answers came slowly. Exhaustion. Not the tiredness of one hard day. The exhaustion of years trying to be a version of myself I built to please the world around me. Loneliness. Not the loneliness of being alone. The loneliness of being surrounded by people and still not being truly seen. A longing for myself. For who I was before I learned to hide. And an enormous desire, enormous, to be real, to stop performing, to live a life that was actually mine, not a script someone else wrote without asking if I wanted the part. That's what I found at the bottom of my nights. And when I found it, when I finally gave it a name, something broke inside me. But it was a good kind of breaking, like opening a window that had been sealed for years. The first rush of air stings a little, but then comes the relief. I didn't solve everything that night. There's no magic. There's no shortcut. But that night was the beginning of stopping running from myself, the beginning of treating my own pain with the same gentleness I would give to someone I love, the beginning of understanding that feeling, everything, even what hurts, is not weakness. It is proof that you are still alive on the inside. Proof that something in you still cares, still wants, still hopes, and whoever still feels, still has a way forward. If you are awake right now, if you have ever lived a night like this, or if you are living one right now, I want to say one thing to you. You are not falling apart. You are releasing. There is an enormous difference between those two things. Falling apart is an ending. Releasing is a beginning. That cry that came without warning. That pain without a name. That night that weighed too much. It is not a sign that you can't take it anymore. It is a sign that you have carried it for too long. And that some part of you, the wisest part, the part you keep ignoring during the day, finally found enough silence to say, enough. Now you are going to feel this. Now you are going to let it out. Now you are going to heal. Let it out. There's no witness here. Just you and the night. And the night, I promise, won't tell anyone. This was my confession for today. If it touched something in you, share it with someone who is also awake, carrying what they can't say out loud. Sometimes the right message arrives through the hands of someone who cares. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Every week, there's a new confession here. Made for this hour. Made for whoever arrives at midnight looking for something real. Subscribe. Leave a like. Share this confession. See you at the next confession.